As participants know, IIFT is known as a center of excellence in the domain of foreign trade and international business, and I'm a faculty in marketing. So you are in safe hands today. The topic as it goes is how to go beyond branding. Yeah, most of the MSMEs that we have in our country, there are about 8 million plus MSMEs, and we have the second most largest population of MSMEs in our country, next only to China. But if we look at what they are selling, then we come to know that these are commodities. Even in the international trade basket, we are able to see that commodities are being exported. So I'm going to take you through this small presentation in which I'm going to show you that how do we move away from the commodity conundrum, commodity business to the brand business, and from brand business, further move to creating a love mark, because it's rather very important to create a love mark, because even brands, consumers switch these days. So, as I said, I'm a faculty of marketing. I have seen that marketing has very interesting and an exciting power. And this power is being realized even by large companies of the size of General Electric. Yeah. GE, despite having technologically superior products, started unleashing the power of marketing because they realized that even the best does not sell itself. And we have some very interesting products made in India. Yeah, marketing is everything, friends. And if we sell commodities, then what happens is that I am a part of a surplus society. Surplus society has been referred in a book called Funky Business, which says that there is sameness of the products floating around. And our MSMEs are no exception. Sameness means similar products of similar quality at similar prices. And there is hardly any differentiation, any branding, any value proposition, any emotional connect with the customers. And that's the problem. And because of this problem, to save our marketing costs and do better in the long run, we need to go beyond branding. That's what the theme of the talk is today. And this requires that we at least brand and do not sell commodities. And this is time that I differentiate between what is a commodity and what is a brand. Cotton, petroleum, cement, wheat, rice, spices, textiles, these are all commodities. Commodities have low respect, low love. Okay, because they have low respect, they command no premium. So when we get into branding, so not cement powder, stone powder, but Ambuja cement. Now that's a brand. And when it becomes a brand, then, the small and medium enterprises, they can get a higher unit value realization. That's what I mean by UVR, unit value realization. That means per kilogram or per meter or per unit of the product, we get a better price. So a brand, friends, is not just a name, a symbol, a logo, a color scheme, but a brand is a promise which needs to be delivered by every business. We need to walk the talk. So when products get branded, consumers start respecting it, and with respect comes a premium. They pay a premium. So if I want to build my home using X cement, then I pay a premium. If I want X suiting, say Raymond's, I pay a premium. But I'm sure, friends, we are also realizing that people change and switch brands. And if I ask this question to everyone in the audience, you can simply, answer in the chat that did you change brand of any toiletries, bathroom products, kitchen products that we use at home during last 6 months? And most of you, and I can see that we have switched brands, which means that consumers intrinsically are flirting, switching. And therefore, it is imperative that we must look at how do we go beyond branding. So, but before we go beyond branding, let's look at how do we brand properly. And branding, as I said during the last slide, that it's not only about the logo or the name of the product, but we have to brand everything in its entire value proposition from our side. Let's start with you, the entrepreneurs. Let's brand ourselves. You brand yourself. What I mean to say is that possess the excellent knowledge about your products, about your markets, about your customer dynamics, about competition, about the applications of your product. You can brand yourself if you are very, very knowledgeable and qualified as an entrepreneur. And as part of brand you also need to possess excellent right kind of skills. Which are skills? Interpersonal skills, skills of selling, marketing, negotiating, presenting, networking, developing rapport, and everything is a skill. Marketing is purely a skill. And most of the MSMEs, they are also part of the surplus society, which I told you, commodities. Why? Because there are a lot of MSMEs without any difference. Even the entrepreneurs, so they need to be skilled, they need to be knowledgeable, knowledge, skills, and the right mental attitude. The attitude of helping people, the attitude of serving the society with your products. And if that is there, then you brand yourselves. And then you move to branding your products, services, you mix the product and service, and you create a solution which is a differentiated one. And you also need to brand your organizations, the names of the firms that you have, with a value system, with the principles, with the processes, with the systems. And that will go a long way in creating a brand of made in India. Since I'm a faculty of international marketing, it's my duty to articulate that even country is a brand. Made in Japan is a brand. You will see such a small country, they have no natural resources. They have no minerals, but they have contributed several brands to the global arena. Sony, Mitsubishi. Even if I talk about one category, that is air conditioners, you will see Daikin, Hitachi, O General, Panasonic, coming from one country, Japan. You may wonder that I'm naming big brands, but it somewhere started with some kind of small businesses. Everywhere, everyone starts small with the baby steps. So branding is a hierarchy, and we need to take care of branding at every step of our business, friends. And I've already stated that let's start with me, myself, as a professional entrepreneur, MSME owner. Let me know everything that is supposed to be known about my business. Let me possess the skill of selling appropriately, and let me have that attitude of solving the customer problems. Of course, you are not a Mother Teresa charity, so you can make profit as a byproduct, but the attitude should be that of curative, that of being of help to the society. And if we think that, and if we don't think profit, I think we then, in that case, do a better branding of our business products and the entire value proposition. Moving further, it's well known, and I have read it from certain researchers, that majority of the buyers worldwide, particularly B2B markets, they don't see any difference between the suppliers. No difference. That means only a point of parity, POP. Everyone claims offering you customized solutions, best quality, best service, lowest price, best value. Now, this kind of language also we need to get away with, because this is commoditized. This is everywhere. It's me too. And me too puts me into the surplus society. So the question is that a good situation? Never. So differentiate or die. This is what the father of positioning in marketing, Jack Trout, said, just like Gandhiji said, do or die. So the key, friends, lies in differentiating our offerings from the rest of the manufacturers all over the world, not just within our country. And that's where we need to start. Let's explore certain unique selling propositions for differentiating. And during the pandemic, these came up like, as a safe bet, safest, contactless, virtual, tech-enabled, convenience, offering convenience and ease of ordering to the customers. Being reliable is a good moment of truth because it's a service. And we need to be responsive. If the phone rings, within 3 rings, if the phone gets picked up, it's a great moment of truth for the buyer. And these small things go a long way in creating a difference in the approach of our doing business. Omni-channel, that means selling from as many channels as possible, direct to consumer, e-commerce channels, indirect business, selling through the retailers, intermediaries, distribution networks, and social commerce. And we also need to be caring for the employees, customers, and the society. Ultimately, friends, as everybody must be reading, that during the pandemic, purpose-centric companies did far better than those which have been selfish. Selfish in the sense that they have been only trying to push their products. So if we are too much on selling and pushing, even if it is a brand, it will not create that love mark and the emotional connect with the customers. Yeah. So differentiation is important. And then if there is no scope for differentiation, product differentiation, service differentiation, channel differentiation, as I said, omni-channel, image differentiation, or differentiation in the quality of people that we are, then I think we need to position our products appropriately. Which means starting with the target market that you are looking at. So always, you should first think of the customer rather than the product. Lovemark requires that. Product is selfish. Brand is also selfish because brand equity is all about selfishness. Okay, but Lovemark is others-centric. It's target market-centric. And you need to be looking at whether your product is part of a particular frame of reference, the category that you are into. Okay, what point of differentiation do you have? Does your product have any differentiation? And then give a reason to believe. So if I give you some example of this, then I know one company that was launching an antioxidant in a sports drink beverage, a small MSME. They said that for females who are athletic and sports loving with active lifestyle, so they first targeted, the market. They said our product is a sports beverage and it has an antioxidant inside. So antioxidant is a POD, frame of reference is a sports beverage, target market, they said females, active lifestyle, who have kids, who are married, they live in the cities, so they identified that nicely. And then the last point, that it gave a reason to believe. The reason to believe is that because it has antioxidants, so it prevents cancer. And everybody will believe this. And many people, in fact, went ahead buying these kind of products because, it had a clear-cut positioning. So I'm trying to tell you, friends, that only differentiation is not adequate, but we also need to position ourselves. There's a difference between differentiation and positioning. Differentiation is what you do to the products. But positioning is what you do to the minds of the prospects. For example, cola. All colas are brown, all colas are sugary, all colas are carbonated. But then our thumbs up is different because they say taste the thunder, because that macho image which they have created. And the Pepsi is appealing to the younger generation. But if you ask people that if Coke and Pepsi come alive, then which one is a younger? And people will say it's Pepsi, which is younger. So it's very important that we create customer value propositions for our business. Customer value proposition, how should it be cooked? Well, it should be cooked designing what you do very well and what your customers really expect you to do for them, what they want. Okay, so rather than getting into competitive landscape and say me too, we should be creating a value proposition which addresses customer problems, is curative, as I already talked about, and that will help you in creating a love market. So please take care of these things before you do branding. Okay, moving further, then what I'm going to talk about is that there's a process that every MSME must understand for marketing. Because Lovemark is not market share. Lovemark is not just mind share. For market share, you can push and achieve higher sales volume, product centric. And for mind share, you can advertise, which costs so heavily. And I'm sure many MSMEs do not have budgets for advertising, high budgets. So then how do you have heart share, that a customer's heart beats for your products? So the recipe for that is that you create value, you communicate value, you deliver value. And that is what I meant by CCD. CCD is create, communicate, and deliver. Okay, so you remember it like CCD cafe, CCD coffee. So you create, communicate, and deliver value, because people want only value, and you are in value business. And this value should be for that target market, and of course at a profit. Okay, because communication is important, but because you can't communicate, if you can't promote, then I think people want to know what products you have, what difference you have, what positioning you have, what brand is yours, how do you connect heart to heart. Okay, so doing business without communication would be like winking at somebody in the dark. Only you know what you are doing, but the other party does not. So we need an emotional appeal along with a rational appeal to every participant in the buying center, whether the buying center participant is an influencer, initiator, developer, buyer, user, whosoever. They are looking for benefits, they are looking for value. We need to design a problem solution, and we need to offer cost efficiencies as well, because people like to buy in B2B low-cost products. But low cost doesn't mean always L1, low price. Low cost means that my total cost of ownership get reduced, even if I pay higher initially as a price. So every MSME, friends, is into three businesses: product business, product management. You create value. Creating value is product management. You communicate value, that's brand management. You deliver value, that's customer management. So we need to manage three businesses: product management, brand management, and customer management. If you do manage these three businesses well, then you are doing CCD, creating, communicating, and delivering value to your target market. And that will be profitable because your marketing cost will be lower. I am going to discuss with you what are the tools that you use for reaching out to your customers. So basically, those tools are called promo tools, tools of promotion. And everyone must be saying or thinking that, oh, advertising, I can't afford. But do we know that advertising is no more much relevant? There is an interesting book, The Fall of Advertising and the Rise of PR. PR means public relations. The book is authored by father-daughter duo Ulrich and Lara Rees. And they are saying that advertising is not credible, not reliable, not trustworthy. So we need to more use the power of media relations, customer relations, public relations, and that cannot happen unless we go beyond branding and create a Lovemark. Yeah. So in that case, what happens is that if there's a fall of advertising, then there are a couple of tools that marketers have. Direct marketing, like Reader's Digest uses, and I'm sure many of you are familiar that Reader's Digest sells more not from the newsstand, but more from the subscriptions. The readers of the readers digest. They are approached by the company with a personalized note that please share, contribute 10 addresses of voracious readers like you. And once the addresses are there, then they write back to them those addresses and say that if you buy, if you subscribe, then 3 fabulous gifts are there for you. So something like that can be done. MSMEs, if you have databases of your prospective customers, then nice, good, interesting email campaign, WhatsApp campaign, telemarketing, going direct with your proposition to the customers with your complete website and product suites is something that you could do. Okay, so if you rely only on agents and distributors and wholesalers and something like that, then I don't think that Lovemark is likely to be created and you can go beyond branding. So we must utilize the tools of direct marketing. Advertising you can minimize, but whatever little advertising that you do should be digital with search engine optimization. Yep. PR is very important. You can create brand communities. And if I give some examples of brand communities, Harley Davidson and several other companies, they have brand communities. Okay, and in those brand communities, it is making the community member joining another community member rather than joining your brand. Like dog connected females with each other. And they said that mothers talk to your daughter before the beauty industry talks to them, because if beauty industry talks to your daughter before you do, they might spoil your daughter. So brand communities, referrals, testimonials, word of mouth. And when there is a Lovemark, then there is a brand recognition. The customer will order, customer buys, customer says, I want to marry you. Customer says, I want this, I need this. That's a brand recognition. For example, everyone knows that people say that if it is consumer electronics, I recognize Sony. Now that's a brand recognition. When people think of getting married and suit length, India is a tropical country. We don't need a suit. But still, if somebody goes for a suit, and if it is a wedding, then it has to be Raymond's. So what is this Raymond's? Don't you think that they have gone beyond branding? Beyond branding, because the complete man, that promotion, that promo tool and hard-hitting messages. So it was an occasion of my attending a student's marriage. And this student was wearing Raymond's. And I simply asked him what suit, and you're looking great. So he said Raymond's. I said, well, it's not displaying Raymond's from anywhere outside. And what he answered? He said, sir, I know it is not saying Raymond's, but I know that it is Raymond's, and I know that I'm a complete man. Because if I wouldn't have been buying Raymond's today, wearing Raymond's today, then on this very important day, if a thought crosses my mind that I'm not a complete man, I'll feel devastated. So that's what going beyond branding means, brand recognition. But this requires participation in events, your trade shows, you need to organize press conferences, friends, when you launch your products, you need media relations. Bisleri is an interesting example of drinking water. So many MSME brands of water were there. I'm talking of a particular city. It was Ahmedabad. And what Bisleri did? They tested all brands of water available in the market, packaged drinking water. But if they say that these waters are inferior and spurious, who will believe? Nobody. So they approached the Consumer Education Research Center and they said that you do a research, we can fund it. You test the brands of water. CERC tested the waters. CERC said the reports are ready. Do we mail them to you? Bisleri said, don't do that. Please call media. So engage a PR agency, media was there. Then the news was broken to media by the third party, unprejudiced opinion that Consumer Education Research Center has found that most of the brands of water available in the market are inferior and spurious. Only 2 brands, Bailey and Bisleri, and they are from one company, meet the standards of World Health Organization on drinking water. So friends, I think going beyond branding requires spending little on events, content marketing, digital marketing, virtual selling, rather than spending unnecessarily on advertising. So as our thought today is about creating a love mark, I'll take 2 minutes to explain you this love mark concept. And by now, if you see this, the screen, you are aware that commodities means low respect and low love. The respect is low, love is low. So there are two axes. The figure is flowing. So when you actually convert commodities into brands, you are increasing the respect. And because of the respect comes flows the premium to you. You can charge a premium. Okay, that's what branding is all about. But there are so many brands. There is Bata, there is Puma, there is Nike, there is Adidas, there is, Skechers. All these consumers, they keep on flirting, switching, as I have been telling you. So there is no love mark. So love mark requires that you do not increase only respect, but also the love. Both need to be enhanced. So love mark means high love, high respect. And if you wonder and if you think, there are certain brands which have created a love mark. And the concept is propounded by Kevin Roberts of Saatchi & Saatchi, a wonderful large global advertising and PR firm. Kevin Robert came out with Love Mark Effect, his book, and he claimed in that book that there are certain brands that can go beyond branding. And love mark requires an emotional connect. So if there is an emotional connect, for example, this guy said that I don't get married every year, so I can afford to wear Raymonds even if the price is whatever. And if you compare, friends, the price of Raymonds as compared to other suiting, you will feel that it's probably one of the costliest. But it's a love mark, so people pay. Harley Davidson. You think that's a brand of bike? That's Kevin Roberts says, no, that's a love mark, not just a brand. Because Harley Davidson, the starting range, in India, it used to be available. I think now they've packed up and went back. But the bike range started from anywhere about 5.5 lakhs, 6 lakhs onwards. And if you see the last quadrant, the fads, what fads is talking about is like Chinese products. Fad means the love is high, but respect is not there. So the situation is something like this, that some product gets launched and consumers fall in love with the product. Let's compare it to infatuation. And in that kind of infatuation, the love dies very soon and there is no respect. And the customer says, well, I can't buy this again. It was my mistake to buy the product. So that was a transaction. So the love mark concept says that all our products should not just be sold as a transaction, but we must create a relationship. Transaction versus a relationship which is more long-term, a relationship where they come and buy again, repeat, and not only do they do that, but they also recommend and promote our products. So when you do love marks and when you go beyond branding, your customers become your marketing department, an unpaid marketing department. So as part of this business conclave, we also wanted to drive this message home that if you're thinking that going beyond branding, will that be costly? Then I want to tell you that branding is more costly. Branding is costlier, less trustworthy, less reliable, less profitable than creating a love mark. And we can do it. Everyone can do it. I'll share stories with you how you can do that. So the journey from brand to love mark is more customer-centric, not self-centric. Customer equity is more important than brand equity. You need to involve customers. Customers are co-producers. and the acquisition cost of the customers will be low. And if you retain the customers, then the LTV, the lifetime value of the customers, go up. And one study found that Lovemark increases buying intentions for your products by 7 times minimum. And only when respect is high, you can double volume by increasing love. So if you are already a brand, then simply by increasing love, you can double the sales volume. Now that's interesting. So you need to do branding, and then you need to move to the Lovemark. There are a lot of interesting examples from all over the world. French perfume, Japanese electronics, as I've been telling you. Malaysia, truly Asia. Even Indian, made in India is now an interesting example of a Lovemark, because China suffered a lot of shame and backlash during the pandemic. Even third world countries like Kenyan Safari, Kenyan Kericho Gold tea, black tea I'm talking about, is a Lovemark, because I purchased that tea that was selling 3 times the price of Indian black tea. And already, our medical tourism, IT services, they are a Lovemark all over the world. I'm sure you know. Our movies are a Lovemark, Bollywood. Our movie stars, Shah Rukh Khan, and you can name certain others, and they are Lovemark. Destinations can be Lovemark. Everything can be a Lovemark. Apple is a Lovemark. Coca-Cola is a Lovemark for certain people. Virgin Mobile, Richard Branson's Lovemark. Amul, Lovemark. Amul Doodh Pita India, Taste of India. Tata Salt, Lovemark. Maggi, Lovemark, despite the FSSAI problem, and it was pulled out of the the retail counters, and then once again Maggi went back and relaunched, and you can know that. Dilma tea from Sri Lanka, Arvind Eye Hospital for cataract surgery. Radiator caps, I want to cite an example, MSME friends, those who belong to the engineering category. General Motors, for all the plants globally, sources radiator caps only from Sundaram Fasteners. One company, sole supplier. Interesting. So it should be a Lovemark in that case. Tata Himalaya, how much do you pay for Tata Himalaya water as compared to the other brands of water? Evian, in European countries and certain places, US and all, I have seen Evian selling at a price higher than beer and alcohol in certain cases. India has a lot many geographical tags, geographical indication tags, GI tags. I think that can be a Lovemark. Doda Valley in J&K has mushrooms which are selling about 20,000 rupees a kilogram. So Lovemark can be there. And let's look at certain stories about creating Lovemark. Nike did it by targeting shoes everybody wears, men and women, but Nike targeted women. Because women, they don't buy, they join the brand. They are not interested in transactions, but they are interested in relationships. If you have an event like marathon, men's marathon, women's marathon, friends, you know that women's marathon will be oversubscribed. If a woman proposes to another woman or to her family members that, she is running into a marathon, then people join her. But if I tell my children that I am going to go and run in a marathon, would you join? They are going to cut excuses to me. Okay. And then if it is men's marathon, and if I put pictures on social media, people are going to put weird comments. But if it is a woman talking about her experience at Nike's marathon, then I think a lot of fan following and promotions. So this was a deliberate decision. Nike did that nicely. They came out with just women's marathon, even virtual event, and they could create a Lovemark. Let's look at our own, Hindustan Unilever's brand Kisan. Kisan, as you know, communicates farmers, and they want to catch the small children, young children, while they are pretty young in their schools, with a value proposition that we'll give you tomato seeds, and you join www.kisanpur.com and you become a registered Kisan and on Kisanpur, and in your small balcony, even if you're living in 20th floor apartment in a metropolitan city like Delhi or Mumbai, you can experience how farmers make a living. So these guys, they will buy 3-4 pots and plant tomato seeds, and They will click pictures and upload pictures and discuss why my tomatoes are greener or redder or bigger than others in the community and something like that. And then, something very interesting, that when the tomatoes are red and you submit a harvest button, harvest submit, then somebody comes to collect that. They give you cap, t-shirt. They say that, you sign a document saying that you want to transfer these tomatoes to the company. The company can crush them and I have no rights whatsoever. It's like a legal agreement. I signed that. So this young boy gets connected with the brand so early, and that creates an emotional connect. You understand? He tells his mother that, Mom, don't forget to plant these tomatoes in the balcony. If mother forgets, he shouts at mother or he blames that I'm going to do it myself. So it's catching them young. I'm just asking you, do you think this guy who has been a member of Kisanpur, active member of the Kisanpur, as a co-producer of the Kisanpur experience, can use any other tomato ketchup like Maggi or Heinz or this or that? If you are thinking no, then don't you think that this is a step towards creating a Lovemark? Milkmaid, they need recipes. They are printing recipes on the label. Does it cost anything extra? Not even a single penny extra. Recipe on the label. Every batch that they produce. But those recipes, where do they come from? Well, they invite recipes from homemakers, housewives. And then somebody received a mail that your recipe has been adjudged as the best. Your family will go for a vacation to Malaysia if you send us a picture and something like that. Now this lady is on the top of the world. Okay, now these kind of things are an interesting way. Get recipes, reward consumers, create a Lovemark, emotional connect. She's going to shop 50 pieces of Milkmaid, she is going to give to every neighbor because her name or recipe is published on the label. I've already told you about Shooting Raymond's and Bisleri example, but Lovemark stories communicate better and create an emotional connect with the customers. So what is the way to create this? Well, we need to choose a cause. Nike worked on a cause that, okay, all the money from this marathon will go to treating leukemia patients' cancer. Purpose-centric. So MSMEs, please choose a purpose because your passion should serve that particular purpose. And as I said, curative, solving customer problems. Think of whether you would like to be sustainable business, a green business with a social impact, whether your business can create more justice, more inclusive, more equality for all classes, sections, gender, everything. And think of events, think of press conferences, think of stories, because media is starving for interesting stories. Harry Potter has not become a brand because they advertise heavily, but they become a brand because it's a Lovemark, and that's because of primarily the stories, sensational stories. Communicate properly. MP Sharbati wheat from India is commanding a price anywhere between 45 to 50 rupees a kilogram, whereas other wheat is 30 rupees and 35 and 25 as commodity. But how you communicate? When you add words like organic, when you say these are freshwater prawns caught live, freshwater caught live, how you catch those prawns, that also you are communicating. And when you do that, and if you share recipes about, and if you not share, you invite recipes about how prawns can be cooked, then I think Lovemark is pretty possible for Darjeeling tea, for anything that we grow on our land, agricultural produce. Lovemark can be created with ingredient branding also. I remember one experience of going to a club and they said that we are using mineral water and they named the brand of the mineral water which they use for making ice, and that ice is used for making a gola, barf ka gola. Okay, Intel Insight. what edible oil do you use in your cooking? So if you talk about the ingredient, what cotton has gone into this shirt, and then you can charge a premium for the shirt. So I think, friends, is very, very interesting. And then, what we need to do is we need to do inbound marketing. Inbound marketing, like Sensodyne did it. So when consumers are looking for products, and when they are searching on the net, if I'm searching sensitive teeth, then teaser kind of a one-liner comes that, do you have sensitive teeth? Would you like to test whether you have sensitive teeth? And I click on that, and it asks me some questions, 5-10 questions. I answer them. 3 questions I answer that, okay, do you experience pain, this, that, after ice cream, or this, that? And I answer whatever way I answer. If I have sensitive teeth, then they say that you can book a free dentist appointment. And to book that appointment, I just have to give in my number, contact number, or email ID. And this is how they collect a database. And then if I have sensitive teeth, Sensodyne is for me. Then me and Sensodyne, it's a Lovemark. It has gone beyond branding, because then I need Sensodyne. I cannot, brush my teeth with any other toothpaste. That's a marketing qualified lead, okay, which is far better than sales qualified lead. There is another research which says that consumers use love marks more often than brands and fads. So create a love mark. And there is a mystery of our relationship with customer brands. These are 2 articles that I have, people can search them on my LinkedIn profile, and I've authored them. They've gone into business dailies. And then I said about Sensodyne that you attract customers, you convert them, you close them, you delight them. This is some kind of inbound marketing, which is more, effective, less costly, workable, and that goes towards creating a love mark rather than external marketing wherein you bombard your customers with messages. So this is what, friends, I wanted to talk to you today. And it is high time that we race against time or be wiped out. Why? Because let me, during closing, talk about what I started with. I said there are 213 million MSMEs all over the world. And if I need to be doing great, big, then I must be competing well. One of the ways to compete is low cost. But that's not the right way, because commodities, they get lost in the surplus society. So it's important that I work towards branding, and then don't stop at branding, but go beyond branding. The sun is already risen, and it's important that we work our best towards that direction. So this reminds me of a story from the South African desert, where a lion and a gazelle both have to be running, because otherwise the gazelle will be eaten by the lion, and the lion will starve if the gazelle is not caught. So it's time that each MSME entrepreneur spends in building themselves knowledge, skills, attitude. Remember, brand yourself, brand your products, brand your organization, and keep the brand made in India. No selling of inferior products. Branding does not mean a logo. Branding is a promise. Keep your commitments, under-commit, over-deliver, rather than over-committing and not delivering later on and spoiling the image of the country in the international markets too. And we need to create a difference. Lovemark is the right way to do that. 99 degrees, water is only hot. 100 degrees, it starts boiling. So please impart that 1 degree temperature. And by that, I mean that engage your customers, involve them. They are the co-producers. And that's the way to go beyond branding. Thank you so much.